There are many huge mistakes people make when choosing a residency program, and today I wanted to focus on the top 3 mistakes that you should not make when choosing a residency program. Obviously, when looking at residency programs, what typically comes to mind are lower taxes and lower cost of living. And these are usually the 2 main factors that people take into account and follow when picking a residency program. But you know what? The cold hard reality is that there's actually much more to choosing a residency program than just lower taxes and lower cost of living. No matter which country you're from, the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, if you're from the European Union, perhaps Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Taiwan, South Korea, or Japan, you probably want to move to a place that is tax-friendly and ideally operates a territorial tax system. And that's why so many people actually start focusing on Paraguay, Panama, Uruguay, Georgia, maybe Singapore, or Cyprus non-domicile program. There are many tax regimes and residency programs that people choose and that you might be interested in because they offer you the core foundation, which of course is lower taxes or even better, no tax on foreign sourced income. While these places might sound like obvious decisions, there are a few key factors, like I said, 3 mistakes that you need to be aware of and that you need to avoid when choosing a residency program. International relocation is a lot more complex than just looking at taxes and cost of living. At the end of the day, you're going to spend thousands of dollars obtaining a second residency permit, no matter where this program might be located: South America, Central America, the Caribbean, Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania. You will likely spend thousands of dollars to not only apply for your residency, but also for you to go to the country, pay for your accommodation, pay for your flight ticket. All of this is not for free and you need to pay for it. So it's very important that you make the right decision from the start. Successful relocation is not just about lower taxes and a lower cost of living. It is about building the right structure from the very beginning. All right, let's talk about the number 1 mistake that people make, something that they totally ignore, which is tax residency rules. You might think, well, by obtaining Paraguayan residency, I automatically become a tax resident of Paraguay, meaning I have no more tax obligations to my current country of residency or citizenship. It couldn't be any further from the truth. Just because you applied for a second residency permit in Paraguay, Panama, Uruguay, some Caribbean island, perhaps Georgia, or different jurisdiction, does not automatically mean you have no more tax obligations to the current country of residency, to your current country of residency. If you're a Canadian that keeps spending serious time in Canada, perhaps you have a family, business, job, real estate to manage, who knows? But if you're spending significant time on the ground in Canada, despite of you getting a second residency permit, it is very likely that Canada will still consider you a resident even if you start spending less time in the country than you did a year ago. Perhaps you're an Australian that just obtained Panamanian residency, but you're still living the majority of time in Australia. Just because you obtained Panamanian residency, started renting a place, started spending more time in Panama, does not mean you have no more tax obligations to Australia. Even if you start spending a few months out of the year in a different country, Australia will likely still consider you its tax resident. And perhaps you may not even have a company in Australia anymore. You may not even have a job in Australia anymore. Perhaps you already moved that to a different country. Might not be Panama, might be a different country. But as long as you keep spending more than 183 days annually in Australia, you're still a tax resident of Australia. And you need to be careful that you don't become a tax resident in multiple countries. Or let's say you are a citizen of the United Kingdom and technically you're still tied to the UK tax system because you still meet certain tax residency rules of the United Kingdom. And despite of you living in Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, or a different country, the UK is still going to tax you because you still meet these requirements that the UK classifies as tax residency. There is a good chance that you're an American. And for Americans, the situation is a lot more complex. It is very difficult to navigate in some instances because no matter where you move, you're still going to be taxed on your worldwide income. Now, there are exceptions. You may qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion. You may establish a domicile outside the US and claim tax breaks on certain income that is generated overseas in the current country you reside in. However, your United States income will still be taxed in America, even if you decide to leave and establish your domicile abroad. I hope this makes it clearer how you may establish residency abroad, yet still be eligible for taxation in your current country of residency or citizenship, depending on your nationality. That's why I've been stressing throughout our videos that you should really consult with a professional tax attorney in your native country to ensure that you are not meeting any tax residency rules in your country while you're working on establishing residency or tax residency in a foreign country. Now, to get out of the taxation system of your current country of residency, you do need to take the step and establish yourself overseas. That's the only way for you to leave. However, that does not mean that you're going to be free from your country of residency or citizenship from day one of you starting this process. It may take weeks, months, and sometimes even more than 1 year for you to move to a foreign country and establish tax residency abroad. A huge mistake that I've seen people make is that they don't consider the source of income when choosing their place of tax residency. Now, this is important. There are tons of income streams out there, and your specific income stream may not qualify for a tax exemption. You may not qualify for zero tax. In fact, you may be required to keep paying full boat to the country where the income is being generated, despite the fact that you might have left your country of residency, right? But the fact that the income is generated there and not where you're currently residing makes you obligated to keep paying taxes to the country where the income is being generated. This is the beginning, the middle, and the end. The territorial tax system applies to income that's generated outside the borders of the country. However, if the other country where the income is being generated still taxes you on that income, then you need to pay taxes on that income there. But it also means that you will be exempt from taxation in your country of residency that operates by the territorial tax system. Different countries tax income differently. So you want to ask yourself, where does my income originate from? And how is it taxed in that country? Let's say you own an LLC in the United States. You may be a non-US resident and a non-citizen. Okay, you may be a citizen from a different country, but the question whether your income is being taxed in the United States or not depends on several factors, such as where's the income being generated, where are your clients located, where's your office located, where are your contractors located, where are you located while you're generating the income. And there are many more questions to be asking to determine your tax status in the United States. Or let's say you're a British entrepreneur that generates income from different countries, and perhaps your company is still located in the United Kingdom, and you believe that by you going to Panama, starting a business there, the income that you generate from the UK will no longer be taxed in the UK. But that is not how it works in practice. You want to keep a close look on where your company is incorporated, where are you running your company from, where are your clients located, where are your employees, where do you sign contracts, and many other important questions. Now, in this specific example, let's say you are from the United Kingdom and you're currently paying taxes to the UK government, and you're in a situation where you want to get out of the UK. You want to establish your company and domicile overseas, and you understand that this process will take time. It is not an overnight thing, and you first of all need to launch a company in a foreign country, outside the UK obviously, and you yourself need to get residency in a foreign country for you to fully exit the British tax net for this specific type of income, which is currently fully generated in the UK, and you're obligated to pay your taxes to the UK government because you're tied to the UK. Now, it's possible to do that, and with the right structure and guidance, you will certainly be able to implement a plan that will allow you to potentially pay as little as 1% or even 0% in corporate taxes, while still remaining a citizen of the United Kingdom. But you can achieve that by establishing your company in a tax-friendly or tax haven, plus establishing your residency abroad in a country that operates a territorial tax system. But you see how looking at a country's tax rate is simply not enough. It is an important step that you're taking because you don't want to go with your company into a country that will also have a high tax rate, because you're not going to win anything by relocating your business to a country with an equally high tax rate. Perhaps you gain better infrastructure, perhaps you have some other advantages, but from a tax rate perspective, you may not gain that much or nothing at all. And it's a lot wiser for you to establish yourself in a country with a low, small corporate tax rate or 0% corporate tax rate, which of course is something that we can help you with here at Nomad Elite. And like I've been stressing throughout this video, it is equally important for you to realize and understand how your income is being generated, not just on the business side, but the personal side as well. Are you paying your income in the form of dividends, owner's draw, or salaries? Because salaries are taxed at a much higher tax rate oftentimes than dividends, because you're not just paying regular income tax rates, but there's also social contributions you need to pay, and payroll taxes, and God knows what else. The third mistake that I've seen a lot of people make that is severe and very costly is that people don't consider their legal status and maintenance requirements. You want to know these things before you commit to any residency program, because all decisions should be based on these 3 points we're discussing in today's video. It is very important for you to know what it actually takes for you to maintain your residency in the country you have decided to obtain a Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, or maybe even a Plan A. How much time does the country expect me to spend in the country during any given 12-month period? Is it 1 day? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? Is it 6 months, 9 months? What are we talking about? What does this country require from me? There are countries with very low minimum presence requirements, but there are also countries in Latin America that have a very high minimum stay requirement, where you need to keep living in the country for at least 6 months out of the year, or you risk losing your residency status. And then there are countries in Latin America, such as Panama and Paraguay, that really only require you to spend 1 day per year in the country for you to maintain residency. Mexico is another very lenient country that you can move to, apply for residency, get approved for, and that won't make a big deal out of you just spending a day or a week there. While some of its neighboring countries definitely make it a lot more harsh on their residents. Yes, it is very important for you to know the residency requirements, because if you start applying for a residency program, let's say you have decided you're going to go with Panamanian residency, and it turns out that you don't meet the requirements because you have not consulted with a firm, or you have gotten the wrong information, but yet you started the process. And in the middle of the process, it turns out that you forgot about a requirement, and you can't meet the requirement because it's just not possible for you. So I'm not downplaying the fact that it is super important for you to know the requirements of the residency program you're looking to apply for. But it is equally important for you to know about the minimum stay requirements of the country and other requirements set by the country to maintain your residency. For instance, now in Uruguay's case, you can become a resident of Uruguay and qualify for the 11-year tax exemption, but you will likely need to keep living there for 6 months or more out of the year to ensure that you don't break your residency status, depending on how you qualify for the program. Whereas in Paraguay and Panama's case, you can literally be out of the country for 6 months or even 9 months and then come back in and not face any consequences, because these two countries, Paraguay and Panama, have very low minimum stay requirements that are conducive for somebody that wants a Plan B, C, or D that could very well turn into a Plan A in the future. And just to be clear, these mistakes that I've seen people make, they don't just apply to Latin American countries. Even within Europe, there are residency programs that are more lenient than others. For instance, if you want to become a tax resident of Cyprus and you want to qualify for the non-dom regime, you need to spend 60 days or more per year in Cyprus, but you're not required to spend the entire year in Cyprus or even 6 or 7 months. With that being said, please don't choose a country because you like the low tax rates, low cost of living. Choose a country because it makes sense for your specific situation. And if you need help determining whether a country makes sense for your specific situation, please book a strategy call with Nomad Elite today. I will help you identify the right residency programs that fit your specific situation and offer you structured guidance to ensure that you will get this right from day one. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite. I truly appreciate your attendance, and I look forward to helping you determine the best possible residency option for you.